Girls with Goals, brought to you by Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel Moisturiser. Leaves your skin feeling smooth, supple and renewed.
Hello and welcome to Girls with Goals. I'm Niamh Maher. This episode is brought to you by Neutrogena Hydro Boost. We're going to be running a live Girls with Goals event in August 21st. Nicola Hughes is going to be there and there's some really exciting things happening thanks to Neutrogena on site. So head over to Her.ie to find out more. We're running this incredible competition where we want to help you achieve your goals and we're going to be giving you €5,000 to help you do that. So head over to Her.ie for all the information. But now, down to business, I'd like to introduce my guest. DJ Mona-Lxsa is with us. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? I'm just exhausted after that intro. I just feel like I need a lie down. Was that impressive?
That was really good.
Thank you. I literally feel like I need a little sleep after that. Mona-Lxsa Torres, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you.
I'm excited.
So I met you the first time at our Her summer party, which you DJ'd there last week, and it was incredible.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and blame you for how much I partied that night.
I think everyone blamed me the next day for that, but I guess that's a good thing.
Absolutely, just messaging you going, damn, you're good music. But we're going to start off the way we start off every show, and that's with our 6 words or less. So basically, it's for any of our readers or our listeners or viewers of the show who may not know who you are.
Yeah.
So you have to describe yourself in 6 words or less, so in your own time.
Okay. I like to think I'm open-minded. Ambitious, determined, probably kind.
That's a good one.
Yeah, kind. I like kind. And self-aware. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Like I'm very self-aware.
That's good.
And very composed.
You are very composed.
Very
I feel like I
composed.
need to up my composedness.
No, I feel like I need more banter.
No, don't be ridiculous. Composed, so that's 5. Do you have one more?
5.
I don't know if that's 5. I can't count. So
I can be spontaneous.
okay.
So I have like a wild side as well. So I can be composed, but I have a wild side where I'm just like, let's just do whatever we want to do.
That's amazing. That is a wide-reaching list of descriptors. I like
It's very broad, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like-
I'm into that. Self-aware is a really good one. So do you mean, when you say self-aware, do you mean professionally or kind of just in general?
I think in general, I think just being self-aware of myself, my decisions, you know, where I'm going, and I guess minding the people around me as well.
Yeah.
And always being empathetic. So I think that comes well with being self-aware.
Yeah, it's pretty crucial. We were talking about it a little bit there before we started filming, so I just want to ask you about your name, because Mona-Lxsa is your name, and obviously you're DJ Mona-Lxsa, and that's like how people would know you as well. But it is your real name as well.
It is my real name.
And it's your real first name, so Mona-Lxsa.
It's my real first name.
And presumably that's after the Mona-Lxsa painting, or where did it come from?
It's actually from my grandma. So my grandma named me after her best friend, who passed.
Okay.
So yeah, it didn't come from the painting.
So it's nothing to do with the painting?
It's got nothing to do with the painting.
Does everybody think it is?
But everybody probably does think, and I get it a lot, like for the last 20-something years.
Yeah.
Everyone's always like, oh my God, like the painting. And I've never even seen this painting.
Do you know, I saw the painting and it's actually a little underwhelming.
You see,
Like it looks like it's about an A4 size piece of paper. When I saw it, I was like, what? Is that it?
I should probably just like recreate that.
Yeah, you could.
Modern day with my locks.
Yeah, nice.
But no, I've never seen it at all, and maybe one day, but it's so underwhelming because everybody always says that, so I kind of not really push to go and see it as well, because I'm just like, yeah, I like the painting.
Yeah, everybody that I talk to, that I've spoken about the Mona-Lxsa to, have just been like, it's actually not really working. So in terms of your career, you've performed at festivals like Longitude, Body and Soul, Electric Picnic, as well as, like I mentioned, the Her Summer Party, which is obviously better than all of those things. But before we get into your career, I do want to go back a little bit and talk about how you got into music originally. So when you were growing up, did you know that you wanted to be a musician?
No. I grew up in Malawi, which is like a really small country in Southern Africa. It reminds me of Ireland, actually. We have like people are so kind, and you know, We love to drink. Literally. But
The same.
we're the same. So when I was coming here, I was like, oh, I'm just going to my other home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I come from a really small country where our economy is really bad. So I'm not really, wasn't really exposed to much.
Yeah.
But somehow, like, I was very interested. Growing up, I always had like these lyric books.
Yeah.
I was never really into like education as much as I should have been when I was younger, but I was more like a creative, so I had all these like scrapbooks, and I didn't know music was my actual thing. I thought it would be more, I wanted to be a poet, I wanted to write a book, I wanted to do other things than music, because I never really seen any like anybody in the music industry that I wanted to kind of be like.
So you weren't like seeing a kind of a career path that maybe
No.
you would be able to follow.
Because I can't sing, like, so, you know. It's
You don't have to, you're a DJ.
You know, maybe in the shower, but like,
Yeah.
I could never sing, so I just never thought, okay, that is definitely my path. I thought it would definitely be something creative,
Yeah.
but not anything to do with music.
Yeah.
But as I grew older, I think writing lyrics, always knowing, you know, I was very intrigued by the charts. I'd always know which songs would blend in with these ones, like automatically in my head, but I didn't really like think about a career or anything like that. And
So you were like mixing in your brain basically
yeah,
before you kind of knew.
literally. And I would always pick out talent.
Yeah.
Like I'd always know, like I'd always watch like these shows where it's like, what do you call this show again? Don't know, it's in Malawi, but like it's like a really old show where it's like people just come sing competitions and
Oh, like
stuff
a
like
talent
that.
competition,
Like a
yeah.
talent competition kind of show. And I'd always know which one was the winner for some reason. But I'd never really like deeped it. I never really thought anything of it. I was just like, oh, I see, I'm right. Like that person's like really talented. And then it grew from there. In high school, I was mostly in charge of entertainment.
Right, okay.
So, but still, like I was in charge of like events, which is something I really loved doing in high school. So we fundraise, we put on showcases and stuff like that. But still, it
didn't click.
I did not click until I actually moved to Ireland.
Yeah.
And
And what age were you when you came to Ireland?
I was 17.
Oh, you were 17.
Yeah,
Okay. What was that like?
It was different. I literally just finished my last day of high school, and the next day I was here.
Wow.
It happened so quick.
And all your friends in Malawi, was that hard to kind of...
It was really hard because it was like a change, like all of a sudden. I moved to Cork, so it was really nice, really small, and my mom's lived here for years.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I'm coming here, you know, to my mom for a better like life. So I appreciated it. I didn't really like cry or anything. I was like, oh, okay. But I was a bit scared. I was a bit scared, yeah.
Absolutely, big change.
Big change.
And then, like, when you got here, then, if you were finished, you obviously finished high school or secondary school in Malawi, and then, obviously, that's kind of the point where you try and decide where to next and what the career path is going to be. So, was college kind of on your mind frame, and what were you thinking about then in terms of what you were going to do to make a living?
Well, I went to college in Cork and I studied business management.
Ah, different to DJing.
Different, like
Slightly.
like I did not think about music or anything in that way. I didn't have friends for like 6 months.
Oh.
So I literally see my mom, she's like a hard worker.
Yeah.
So she would work in Limerick,
Right.
and I'd be alone for like the whole week, and then she'd come back in the weekend. So I'd be like in college, so I was by myself all the time. But I always like YouTube. I'd always love discovering like new music, and I'd blend like 2 YouTube channels together. Like, oh, this is actually like gonna go with this. But I still never thought about it, because even in college, I was like, oh, I'm going to do business, or like I never had like a clear path. I just wanted to be creative, but I didn't know where to start, how to start. Finished college. My mom was like, you need to get into nursing, you know. I was like, oh, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why did she want you to get into nursing?
Because she felt like it was safer.
Right,
Like
yeah.
anything that
I
was
get that.
safe. Like, to be honest, she didn't really mind anything that was safe, but I've kind of always been a rebel. I've always made my own decisions and always been so sure of what I wanted to do. in terms of nursing is not it. I know that's not it.
Yeah. So music wasn't necessarily there yet,
No.
but you definitely knew that nursing wasn't
Definitely not
the right way. Yeah.
No, and I was like, okay, maybe it's retail, maybe, you know. Then I started getting myself into like little jobs, and I was really into like fashion and stuff. I would make tops off scarves, and I was like, maybe it's fashion. I wanted to open my own brand. Like, this is like when I was 17, called Bliss by Mona. Oh my God.
Well, that's a cute name.
Oh my God, it was just t-shirts. It wasn't even real design, but
it's funny because obviously, like we were saying there earlier, that business management and DJing, you know, very far apart, but you obviously have a business mind if you're thinking at such a young age about opening like and starting your own brand. And we'll talk about kind of the business of music a little bit later on, because you have almost gotten into that as well with Girl Code, which we'll talk about. So how did Bliss by Mona go?
Did not go anywhere. Literally just died in my laptop.
But you had the idea that you wanted to maybe work for yourself.
Idea. Yeah, I had the idea, and I think at the time I was too young, and I was just like, oh, maybe this is not who am I to actually even try this, or where do I start? I don't have the funds, I have nothing. So I just gave that up and went partying all the time, you know, college partying.
Yeah.
And what I did notice is though, every time we're at a party, because I never like really go wild. I'm always still composed. I always used to be the one on the corner, just sitting there with the laptop, and everyone be like, oh yeah, can you play the next song? Can you play it? And I would love it.
Yeah.
Like every house party I went to, I was in charge of the music.
Wow.
And it still did not register in my head, maybe because I didn't see any female DJs, so I didn't really think about it.
Right.
But I did have two friends like who were DJs in Cork, and they would do it, and I was like, I want to learn how to do this. But I was like, you know, I never really was pushed, because I'd never seen a female DJ, so I was like, oh, maybe this is really hard. No, I don't have the time for this, let's go party. But
and so what was it then that kind of, like, it sounds like you were completely natural in that kind of atmosphere, as it were, and like if you were the one on the laptop kind of being the DJ at all of the house parties anyway. So what was it that clicked with you then? Was there like a moment that you can remember that was a defining, okay, because obviously you said you wanted to learn about it, but was there a moment where you were like, I can actually learn?
Yeah, there was. So I was dating a DJ years ago, and I think we started a record label together, and I was very into music. I was actually an A&R.
Nice.
So I would like definitely reach out to like artists and stuff, and I'd always know. I actually picked out Masigo, if you know him. Yeah, he got signed to Sony, but he was under our label before. Cold Soul Etiquette.
And you found him?
Yeah, we found him. We were like on Skype, and then he told us he got signed to Sony, but we couldn't afford him, so we can't pay him anything. We're just like a little label in Ireland. So we were helping out loads of producers. It was mainly about producers, and none of them were in Ireland. It was all about like worldwide, all on SoundCloud, all on the internet and stuff. And because I was dating a DJ, it was quite intense to date a DJ.
Right.
And I was just like, what? Like, I can do this, you know, I can do it. And I remember it clicked for me actually when the story is funny.
I'm excited.
The story is like...
You're really building it up now as well.
I'm like, is this too much? But like, so there was one night where we were at an event, and he was like, you know, all these girls are, you know, they like really like interested in DJs and stuff like that. Like we were young anyway, so we were pretty young, and he would get all the attention and stuff, and I would be really upset because he wouldn't really mind like my feelings. So we had an argument, and like I knew that I could do it, but I'd never like pushed to do it, because I saw what he did. I learned everything that he did, and we were good partners anyways when it came to music. But it was that night I remember so well that I told him, I was like, I'm going to be a better DJ than you will ever be. and I bought my controller the next day.
Nice.
And that's how it actually started.
Actually, like, gave me like little shivers and stuff.
I was like, oh no, I was just like, because he was like, it's my job.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, yeah, it's your job, but like, you know, you don't mind my feelings. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, okay, I'll show you. I can get the same what you're getting and see how
Yeah.
you feel about it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just that, I guess. It was
course.
obviously the love of music, and that just kind of like pushed me a little
Yeah.
bit even further, because I was like, I can actually do what you're doing. It's just I choose not to. I'm in the background doing all the other work and doing all the NR work, talking to producers, trying to build a brand and stuff like that. So it was actually that moment where I was like, do you know what? I can actually do this.
Wow. And so you bought your controller
bought
the
my
next day
controller
then?
the next day.
So, I mean, obviously making that decision of being like, right, well, this is what I want to do. And, you know, you said earlier in your 6 words that you have self-awareness. So you obviously knew that this was something that you could do and that you would be good at. But taking that step into deciding that you want to DJ and actually getting gigs, I'm sure, is a big step. So like proper, although you obviously had connections in the music industry, but what was that transition like to be like, okay, A&R producer kind of behind the scenes a little bit more, to moving into, can I please stand up in front of all you people and DJ? Like, how did you do that? And do you remember your first gig and what that felt like?
Yes. So what happened was, after I bought my controller, I started a SoundCloud. So I wanted to practice DJing without actually like DJing in front of everyone. I wanted to make mixes that I kind of felt and to pour my emotions into a mix, because I felt like that was the only way I could get my message across. But my first mix, it was only practice. It was literally only practice, because I remember my thought process was, I'm doing this because I want to listen to this mix in this certain order. And it didn't even, like, the BPMs were off, everything was off, but the mix went viral, and it's like up to like 100,000 plays on SoundCloud.
Nice. And that's not what you expected. You were literally just uploading it so that you could almost listen to it.
Yeah, and if you go back to my SoundCloud, you will see my description. I wrote saying this is for practice.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely insane to me that it got that much reaction.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm onto something here. I was like, I could just like pour my emotions. And then I started building up my SoundCloud, sharing my story through music, first of all, because every time it so happens that I have to, my mixes are so special. They tell a story, every single one of them. And I built a series off that. And it's got such good like worldwide traction, which I did not expect. I didn't think I was going to be a DJ like the way I am today, because I was just like a bit nervous. Playing in front of people, being in front of people.
And so that transition, like from, having something that obviously resonated with people online, but then to the actual, like being in person and interacting with them. Because I always think about DJs and musicians in general, like there's a huge pressure, because I feel like you almost hold the responsibility of how good a night they have. And that's why I remember I was saying about this somewhere, like we all had a great night, and that's why we blame you for it. Like literally, it was so good. But does that feel like pressure as well, because you're essentially kind of, in charge of making sure that everybody has a good time?
It is pressure. It is a lot of pressure, because like I feel like as a DJ, my responsibility is to play what I feel like would set the tone, would set the environment, the vibe, everything. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to read how everybody is, and you have to literally gauge how everybody's reacting to certain songs. So there is a lot of pressure, but I've kind of like mastered it in a way that I know my audience. So I study my audience a lot. I'm like, okay, this is what they are going for, and this is what they want to hear. And I guess it like works better for me because I play everything. Like I could literally play country or jazz. Like, I could play anything. So it's not, it's better. It's like,
absolutely.
totally.
Studying your audience is such an interesting thing, because like I know for me, whenever I'm kind of speaking in public or whatever, I will pick out that one person who looks proper pissed off. And like, it's probably not anything to do with me. They probably like got a flat tire on the way over, or they bumped into an ex or something like that. But I will like focus on that person until that person engages or smiles a little bit, or I can see is kind of following along, which I think is just a weird psyche and a weird sense of responsibility.
It is, it is. But I think it's a good one to have, because then you can change their day, you know, you can make, you know, as you said, a lot of people came from work from that, for that Her.ie party, but to see everyone have a good, like, great night on a Wednesday, you know what I mean, to me that is satisfying. I'm like, oh, job done. I'm happy that I could, you know, convert everybody's feelings, because that's the good thing about music, is that, you know, when you're feeling down, you can play a happy song, or if you want to cry, you can just play a sad song and bawl your eyes out.
Absolutely.
So
I don't know if my talks have the same effect that your music would have now, to be honest. But there's usually a lot more pissed off people.
Gosh. You should see my comments on SoundCloud. It's just crazy.
Really?
They are crazy. Like, it's so good to see, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, they blame me for a lot of things. Babies. Literally, babies. They blame me for babies. They blame me for hangovers, for getting together. Like, it's all like positive though. So I love getting like the feedback and people's reactions, knowing that I've made a difference in somebody else's life through music.
Absolutely.
It's just
So I mean, you know, you spoke earlier on a little bit about never seeing a female DJ, you know, when you were kind of growing up and maybe just like dipping your toe into the industry. So aside from, you know, the fact that your mixes and stuff really resonated and your own career was taking off, you also noticed and kind of decided to do something about the lack of female DJs, and not just DJs, like across kind of the creative and artistic realms, essentially. And you started this collective known as Girl Code. So tell me, like, I know all about it, but tell me and tell our listeners and our viewers of this, what is Girl Code and where did it kind of come from initially?
Girl Code is, I like to say, it's a creative collective and platform for like female creatives. So not just creatives, I guess entrepreneurs or anything, or even if you don't know what you want to do, I think if you want to do something but you just don't know what it is, you're trying to figure it out, I think we're very open to like helping out to figure out that step, because I was the same. I didn't know, you know, throughout. I didn't know that this was my path. I didn't know that I could do it. I didn't have anyone to kind of support me in that way, to tell me, look, this is how you actually like do it, or this is the professional way to do things. I had nobody to guide me. So I felt like, okay, I'm getting somewhere. I've done my gigs, like, you know, I've built my name up and stuff like that. Why? I've got the platform that I've built for myself, so I might as well help other people. And then I started discovering a lot of creatives in Ireland. A lot of creatives, a lot of female creatives that I was inspired by. So I'd like write to them, I'm like, hey, I'm actually starting this new collective and stuff. But Girl Code came, the idea itself came in 2016. And it failed.
Really?
We only launched 2018, so it's 2 years after.
So how did it fail? I mean, I personally always think that failures contribute to success eventually, and I think that they can drive you on in an incredible way. But so you had the concept and the idea for it 2 years before it eventually launched. So what were the barriers that you faced initially?
I think I had a whole different concept. I mean, I knew I wanted to support females. I knew I wanted to build something that could definitely be a platform, but I didn't have the right tools. I didn't know how to really maneuver, because then I didn't really start DJing as well. I only got into the scene. I was learning a lot and stuff, but I didn't have it together. I didn't feel like it was together. So it never launched, actually. It just was, I started meeting people, telling them about it, but it still didn't feel right. It didn't feel right until I started, I think, then went back and was like, okay, how do I actually like do this? How do I put this into a collective where I can depend on, like, you know, we can depend on each other, we can support each other and stuff. And then I seen this collective called Bay Worldwide.
Okay.
They're in America.
Mm-hmm.
They're a collective of female DJs only.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, like, why am I not there? Like,
Yeah.
why am I not, you know, a part of that? And I was like, you know, I can, you know, maybe this is what I was trying to do, but I didn't like really get it. But I didn't want it to just be about DJing. I wanted it to be about just being creative and being entrepreneurial and taking risks and just, you know. So that's when everything started making sense. And I was like, oh, okay, this is actually what I want to achieve. And then started reaching out to different girls and trying to get them on the team.
Yeah.
And everybody just fell in love with the concept and it just grew.
Yeah. It's incredible because like it started with yourself obviously, and then I think it was 3 people that it started with now, and now you have in Dublin alone 30 women involved, and that's like you have DJs, musicians, graphic designers. Tell me about some of the women that you have involved.
Oh my God, they're all just like...
And they're from loads of different places as well.
That's the thing. I think the reason why, like, we all have a similar story. I spend one-on-ones with most of them, and it's literally the same story. They are so talented. They're very creative. They just don't know where to start, don't have any support, don't have guidance, don't have somebody to push them. And most of them are really young. They're like 20s, you know, 19. They just want to like have that kind of big sister support in a way as well. So we have tattoo artists as well.
Nice.
We have a wrestler. Like it's
you
just
have a wrestler.
We have a wrestler. Like I know it's very random. Like it's just like I'm even like. Like how, but like
but still.
It's still you know, it's still like amazing because it's like, wow, they're all breaking the boundaries and all trying to do the same thing. They all have the same kind of similar goals where they all want to just be creative, do what they love doing, and make a name for themselves. And I guess maybe, you know, get some inspiration and really try and...
Because I think as well, like especially when you're trying to get into kind of any type of creative industry, it's really hard, and contacts is something that is so important. And we kind of spoke about this before, because like I started my career like over 10 years ago, and like you were saying in 2016 when things didn't necessarily click with you with Girl Code, because you were kind of at the beginning of your own career as well, and like when you get a bit of traction on that, you have to keep moving it forward. And like for me, I honestly, like something like that I would have like adored at the time, do you know? Because you're just trying to break into the boys' club almost. Well, for me, getting into radio and getting into media anyway, it was just men everywhere I looked, and I just didn't necessarily see a way through. So I couldn't actually think. And now obviously like I have the platform to be able to talk to incredible women like you, but at the time I was just really kind of trying to figure myself out. So now you're giving these women an opportunity to not only get like a supportive group, but you're also giving them the opportunities to get contacts from all of these different creatives in different aspects of their own careers, which I'd say they're just benefiting from massively.
They're just like amazing, to be honest, and anything I could do to just help them, support them and stuff, because as you said, it is really hard breaking into the industry, and because you don't know, like everybody knows each other already, and I'm just a small girl from Limerick, you know, and don't really know much, and it was actually because I started DJing for Soleil, you know, is when I started really learning about the industry, because I was like, oh, this is actually what happens. And started, you know, building my own name, building my own contacts. And I guess, just getting to know, you know, how things run, basically. And if I can share that knowledge with my girls, you know, save them the time, save them the trouble that I had to like go through, because as you said, it was just a boys' club. I was in a record label with just boys, and I was just in the background, you know, doing work, the most important work probably, but nobody knew me, nobody knew what I was capable of or anything like that.
And we're certainly moving on, which is incredible, but I do think that sometimes people forget that like you do at times when you're in an industry like that is, you know, that's not equal in terms of gender, that you do have to shout twice as loud and maybe do more work. And but the good thing is that, you know, with something like Girl Code, like, you know, you're trying to almost stop that from happening for younger people who are coming in. And also you're expanding now. So there's Girl Code Belfast.
Yes.
So you're busy.
Busy, yeah. Belfast launched last month. There's like about 12 girls there. It's run by Dina, one of like my sisters. Literally, she's just amazing. But it's growing. They literally are just, we're literally one big family. Literally, everyone is so similar. And I think the thing I love about Girl Code is that there's so many. It's so diverse. Every single girl is from a different country. And we all have like, you know, we learn from each other's like culture and knowledge. We share so much. And I'm just like very intrigued because there's just no boundaries between like, you know, what we do. And yeah, it's just, we're launching Cork as well. In London.
I mean, I'd say your business management skills.
See, the business course paid off.
Have to come into play here, because as well as everything else, like you are essentially whatever about like helping them kind of, you know, and being a family and a team together. You know, there is business skills that everybody needs to know, whether it's managing invoices or making sure that you get paid for the work that you're doing as well. That's a big thing about coming into a creative industry. You know, like you need to make sure that you're paid for the work that you do. So I'm sure that the business course is definitely.
It definitely
I don't know if
is.
nursing would have had the same effect.
Definitely not.
Sorry,
Mom.
Mona-Lxsa's mom. Sorry about that. So you're going to be launching in Cork as well.
Yes, we're planning on launching in Cork. There's a few like creatives down there that, you know, really want to join, and everything is just really expanding, and we've only been a year. You know, and it's like overwhelming, exciting, but it's a lot of work. And you are right, like the business managed part of it, it is a lot. And to be honest, I'm still learning every single day as I go, because on top of that, I'm managing like 3 other artists. And to handle them as well, and their bookings and their stuff, it's a bit of, it's intense.
Yeah, I mean, like work-life balance as well, especially when things get rolling and get moving. Like you have to really work hard at getting that work-life balance. Would you say that you've got that nailed, or no?
Not yet.
Not right.
I think,
not right now.
I think I'm trying. I think recently anyways, because I'm the type of person for the last few years, I think 3 years, 4 years, I've just put everything into work. Like I take no holidays, and it's just like work. And then, you know, I burnt out, you know, and then I realized that, okay, I need to make some life changes and need to really think about what I'm doing here. And it took, I burnt out for a whole month. I just couldn't move, couldn't do anything. And that's when I realized that I need to cut back some things.
Because like ambition can be a terrible thing as well.
It can, and like my dreams just don't stop here, you know? Even though Girl Code is doing so well, I have like other business plans and other like ventures that I want to get into. So it's going to be interesting few years coming.
Maybe you're going to bring back Bliss by Mona.
Oh my God, who knows?
I'd buy the t-shirt. I would buy the t-shirt, to be honest.
Bliss. I don't even know what it meant then, to be honest.
Just Bliss, why not? So you've kind of spoken there about like the way Girl Code is expanding, but what would be your future aspirations for the collective? Like if you were to look at it and say 5 years, like do you want this to be a global thing? Like I know we were talking there about burnout slightly, but what are your dreams for Girl Code for the future?
I definitely want it to be global. I wanted every place to have something, like whether big, small, whatever, to have like a support system, you know, for women. And to be honest, we do support, like we're not like against men or anything. We work with men, we support men as well. But it's so important to support each other, like, you know, as females, because it is really hard to get into it. And I've had talks from people from Glasgow who are like, can I join Girl Code? Like, you know, how can I be part of this? And to me, that makes me sad, because like, why can't you build that there? So then it makes me think, oh, you know, we could probably do this everywhere and make it like into big community, and we could all share experiences, knowledge. And we fly over some of the girls that, you know, represent Girl Code who are not here, who are in Liverpool, like my friend DJ CC, or, you know, like different people around. So we want to turn this into definitely something global.
Okay, so total world domination. Not a huge thing to look for, just total world domination.
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully, like, I think the goal has always to open like a community creative hub.
Yeah.
Where we could just, because that's the hard thing about being in this collective right now, is there's 30 girls. We can't be in Starbucks, you know, working. We can't, you know, we can't all meet up in a house because some of us just like have roommates, or, you know, I think that's like the challenge. So have a point. So once we get, I don't know, funding somehow, somewhere, we'll be able to build like little creative hubs where people just come and bounce off each other. And even if it's not the same project, you know, people working on different things, and there's that source of community creativity, and it's all happening, and you never, like, it's amazing to be in a Girl Code meeting, to be honest, because like there's so many opinions, there's so much creativity, we bounce off each other so well, but we're always kicked out of cafe shops. Literally always, like 30 people, well, can we get this chair as well, can we get that chair as well, and this chair.
So funding, that's what we gotta get you a place.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, it's incredible though to see how much it's grown in the last, and it only started in like what, May of 2018.
Yeah, May.
Yeah, which is incredible. And I think, like, obviously, I think when you touch on something that people are really, it's resonating with people, the sky's the limit. So I can't wait to see what happens with Girl Code. I'm so excited to see. But let's talk as well before I let you go, because I would keep you here all day.
We could talk for ages.
Yeah. So you have a new night that's starting in Dublin, right? So people are going to be able to see you. So tell us about this. Where did the idea come from, and give us a bit of information on it.
Okay, so we're starting a new night, like me and my partner and I. It's called Deja Vu. We noticed that there's a gap. The club scene is quite dead right now.
Yeah.
And like it's either too young, or, you know, there's just no nice really setting for professionals, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
To go and actually have a really classy night out, you know, have that whole London experience where they're coming in limos, or, you know, bottles are just like flying everywhere, and it's that whole club experience. So we feel like we could bring that to life.
Yeah.
And I think it's just from everybody asking, we're, you know, residency and stuff.
Yeah.
Where are you going to play? When do you play? Because I always do like all the corporate gigs and not really have like my own place to kind of set up and have people come and actually hear like creative vibes. So that's where it came. It's next week.
So it's next week.
It's actually next week Friday. It's
amazing.
Yeah, next week and Friday. I'm a bit nervous because it's something that I haven't done, is the club scene at all. But a lot of people are really excited because. And
so where's the location? Can people still like go? Or
yeah, definitely. It's in Harry's on the Green, which is very kind of like central, very nice. It's such a hidden gem. Harry's on the Green. They have the best cocktails. If you go inside, it's like really amazing. So I really want to bring that place back to life, because I remember when I went there like years ago, I was like, this place is really nice, because we have places which are obviously great, like Opium and Cafe and Sen and Lolita's, which are really like really high, nice venues and stuff. So I was really kind of
expecting you to say one of those venues though, so I'm like nicely surprised that it's Harry's. I love Harry's. I've had great nights in there.
That's the thing, is that everyone expects it to be those venues, and which is great, and they're really doing well. But Harry's is a hidden gem, and there's so much potential there. So I realized, I went in there, I was like, nobody uses this place for anything, and I don't understand, because it's beautiful inside, has so much potential to actually turn into such like a scene pretty much. So I'm trying to get all the professionals out to come and like have a great time, you know, leave work at work and just dress up, come and have fun.
Amazing. I'm going to try and source a limo so that I can come to Deja Vu and roll up in a limo like you were talking about.
That's it. We're doing membership cards and stuff. So We want to have ambassadors,
Amazing.
limo service, like the
Yeah.
whole thing. Like we wanted a different experience.
Amazing. I'm gonna
like,
get Stephen
completely
McCann on that.
different
He's gonna definitely hook us up.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be ambassador. Don't mind Stephen.
100%.
I'm making him an ambassador.
Absolutely. So DJ Mona-Lxsa, thank you so much for coming in and telling us about your story. It's so fascinating.
Thank you.
And I think that you're not at the beginning of your career, but it feels like
the beginning.
it feels like you're on the cusp of something ridiculously massive. So please always come back to Girls with Goals.
Definitely.
When you like go global with Girl Code.
Definitely.
And don't forget about us.
Oh my God, Neve, you're amazing.
Thank you so much for
You're
coming in.
amazing. You're so inspiring.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And the moment you get that creative hub, I'm gonna be down there.
Neve, are you coming through?
Banging on the door. That is all the time that we have for this week. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. And for all the details of DJ Mona-Lxsa's new night, Deja Vu, you can head over to her Instagram and get all the information there. It's incredible. And just follow her anyway, because if you're not already, you should be. So we'll chat to you next week.